What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 86 of EZPZ Podcast, coming at you from Des Moines, Iowa. Studio EZPZ. We up in here. Joining me this week, Trey. Trey's up in this bitch. And Nick.
What's up?
What's up, Nick? What's up? I'm glad to have you guys. My favorite podcast hosts, co-hosts, homies. We got a lot of great topics to discuss with y'all today. Including one that hits close at home, the panhandling ordinances in Des Moines and across our state, actually, are being challenged by the ACLU. And the mysterious doorbell woman from Montgomery, Texas. We got some Riot Games drama. It's just been nothing but drama at that company for the last months. I mean, really just months. And then two Madden pros, Madden football. Most of you guys know that game, right? Every August it comes out. No disappointments there.
Ew, what's coming out this year? Madden 1.8, I believe.
Yeah, Madden 1.9. But yeah, that Madden tournament in Jacksonville, Florida, two were shot and killed. That happened right after the podcast, actually, last week. But first, let's talk about something happy time. I'll kick it to you, Nick.
Yeah, Shaun and Lydia and Shayna and I had a little double date and went to see the Happy Time Murders with, what's her name?
Melissa McCarthy,
Melissa McCarthy. Generally not a fan of her, usually. Some of her stuff, it's usually hit or miss with me, but I think this was a fun movie. It was good.
She's like, you know that, what's that movement? It's like the fat shaming movement. I feel like she's like, she's an actress that's bigger, funny. She is pretty funny. I mean, I'm not a huge fan. I'm just like you, Nick. I'm not a huge fan of her either. And I really don't have a good reason. I guess none of her movies have been great, except for Bridesmaids. I love Bridesmaids. Obviously, we all love it. But she's a female lead that is making good money, and she's a bigger woman. So I think that's the appeal. What do you think?
Well, I don't know this lady. Was she the bigger lady in Bridesmaids?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I know who you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, she kind of grosses me out a lot of the time, but like,
yeah.
But that's like one of those things that it's my, like, what's it called? Frail male sensitivities that are like making me uncomfortable with like women doing the fucking like ball shit we did all through the 90s, you know? So,
sure, yeah.
That's a really great, you're really mindful about that. That's a good insight.
I guess, dude.
No, that's good to have. Like, I totally agree with you. Like you're a human being, and then you're like, kill it. But, yeah, so she stars in it, Nick.
Yeah, so it's just basically a raunchy comedy. Well, I guess you could call it maybe like a horror comedy, I guess. I don't know. About
it's like a murder mystery.
Yeah, Muppets and humans.
Oh, so
live
that's
together.
the Muppet movie then.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Brian Henson, the son of Jim Henson.
Jim Henson, yeah.
So they did. Oh, so that's how they got around all of the copyright shit. I was like wondering how they were like using Muppets. You know, like,
so is Jim Henson still alive? I think he just died, right?
I thought he died a while back.
Oh, okay. So
he might
dead.
have. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that until Shayna pointed it out the other day that he's the one that did it, but. There actually was still a bit of like scrutiny between like the original Muppets production thing and this, because like he had some sort of a tagline. It was all street no sesame or something like that was a tagline for the movie, and the original like production company like tried to sue him for it because they said that this movie was like tarnishing their reputation, which makes a lot of sense because this movie is really raunchy.
Dude,
extremely raunchy.
All I can say about like Muppets in 2018, totally irrelevant. Like, like 100%, they're not tarnishing shit because they're already being forgotten.
Right.
You know, like future generations aren't. If anything,
this is revitalizing.
Kind of like getting kids interested in like their stupid ass Muppets.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
But
I don't know. But overall, it was a fun movie to watch. I had a good time. We were like the only people in the theater.
Well, we had two vapors behind us that were really pissing us off. So we went to people that listen in Europe or wherever the heck you're listening at, because we do have one or two stragglers out there for some reason clicking on TheEZPZ.com where you can see all of our episodes.
Hey, man, we like you guys. Keep going.
Spread the word. Some random Australian. But Des Moines, Iowa, we're at like pretty much the smallest theater in the metro for sure. It was at what's it called? Cobblestone.
Oh, Cobblestone. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
like the smallest.
Oh,
like,
so they let you drink in there now, though?
No, you sneak it in.
Okay.
When you go going with the girl, it's pretty easy when you go with a girl because they got purses. I mean, I'm not gonna bust out my.
You guys are like bitching about the vapors and then like slamming tall boys and they're like, what?
Discreetly, okay. You put it in a water bottle.
Yeah, we put it in like this.
You've dumped the tall boy into like a shaker bottle.
Yeah.
You guys are comedy. You like open it and it goes like it sounds like you're cracking a beer. It's just like.
Well, Lydia thought I was trying to get a beer, but Lydia thought about how when she walks in with her purse juggling back and forth, that it's gonna ruin the foam, make it warm. Yeah, so we got like twisted tea things.
Okay, like margarita shit.
Yeah. So it tasted fine. But these two vapors behind us, Britt, they were killing me.
I didn't even notice it.
You and Shannon didn't notice it at all, but the plume would just go under our seat and up into our nose. It was so annoying. But then I looked behind us like 20, 30 minutes before the movie ended, they had left. So the movie wasn't that great in their eyes, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, the movie was good. I thought, like, as far as like a storyline that is fluid and it follows like a complete arc. Like this character is getting like the main character like has its ups and downs and everything, and like the story is like fine. Like it wasn't.
There was a lot of funny parts to it, which.
It was extremely raunchy. It's in the trailer, so I'll just spoil it. But there's like a cum scene where he's like, the main character's coming, bunch of silly string, just everywhere. And then he stops, he takes a deep breath, and then he starts coming again.
Nice.
And it's like actually pretty hilarious.
So a family movie.
Yeah, it's totally a family movie. Take your kids.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, anyway, that movie was fine. And Melissa McCarthy is fine. I mean, I don't want to hate on her because I have seen her in a couple other films. We were discussing
There's been
them.
a few that I like, yeah.
Yeah, we were discussing them last night. I don't remember the names, but she's fine. Joel McHale is in it. I like Joel McHale a lot. And then the guy from The Office, the big black guy.
Daryl.
No.
His name's
the one that works in The Office with them. Forget his name.
With the mustache.
Yeah. Stanley.
Stanley. Yeah. I love The Office.
Yeah, me too, dude. I was like, Daryl's in the office. He gets an office moved upstairs from the. Anyways.
Yeah, no, the Daryl's awesome. I love that actor too. What's his name? Something Robinson. Craig Robinson.
Oh.
So great. I wouldn't say a great movie at all. I would not even recommend going to a theater to watch this, but it's a good movie to like watch like on a Sunday afternoon or whatever after you got all your shit done and just on Netflix. Yeah. So, Trey, this week on Monday morning, I think 10 a.m. Central Time, they started the Twitch Pokemon playing thing. So what was up with that?
So they were playing I think it's the first 13 seasons they're doing, and then like
I heard
was it 12 or 13 movies as well, like scattered in there.
That's insane.
I don't know how long they run at a time, but it seems like they go to these like weird commercial breaks every 10 minutes that are like these huge chunks of promoting like ads that are like show the schedule for it and like tell you like when the replay is, because they do like one airing in the morning and then a rerun at night for people that can't watch Pokemon during their work hours or whatever. But at any rate, I was watching a little bit of that, and show does not hold up that well.
Funny you say that. Lydia and I actually watched the first 35 to 40 episodes on Netflix when it was on there about a year ago, because we were in this house. And we would just watch it like one or two before we went to bed. And I actually really liked it because it brought back all the good memories. But it's not a great anime, overall.
My main problem with the Pokemon anime is like the repetition in a lot of it. So like Team Rocket coming in, doing his spiel, Brock doing his like chasing after girls spiel. Like you're left with about like 7 minutes of like content that's like unique to the episode. So
yeah, the formula is always the same.
Yeah,
sprinkle in a new Pokemon every episode.
It's one of those things that I don't mind watching while I'm playing video games, but you can't watch anything while you're playing Fortnite because you have to hear footsteps.
Exactly.
So it's frustrating.
Yeah, I didn't actually catch much of it either, except for I just like noticed the weird start times. I'd tune in. I'm just be like, okay. They were going pretty slow too. Like there was only 10 episodes a day or 8 episodes a day.
It wasn't enough to truly binge watch and like be a disgusting human being. So
Yeah.
wasn't really interested.
I'm sure people.
But that
are still
Twitch,
trying.
that Twitch now playing thing or whatever it's called, I kind of like the concept.
Oh yeah, Twitch
They've done it for other shows,
Yeah,
right?
that shit's awesome, dude. They've done like Doctor Who. They've done Torchwood. I'm blanking on a bunch of other stuff they've done, but they do these awesome marathons. And what's like really cool about it is like honestly the chat is really fun. So
Yeah.
like you can like binge watch like all of these things, but like generally on Twitch like the chat's really toxic, but for these things for some reason everyone's just super hyped up about whatever it is,
Right.
you know, and they're like talking about fan theories, they're just goofing off, and it's really fun. But
That makes sense because I mean you're probably generally only gonna get fans of that specific show. Probably.
yeah, you're
So
never
then,
gonna have someone that hates the show because
like I'm
they'll
gonna
do-
binge watch this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do something similar. There's this YouTube channel called Chilled Cow. They play like lo-fi hip hop, which is like EDM type of stuff.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like kind of like the stuff you would like to. You said you like to listen to.
No, I
when you're
listen
gaming.
to the lo-fi hip hop beats to study, relax to
Right.
shit. Like
So-
Is it, time out real quick. Sorry to interrupt, Nick. But is that the one that has like it shows somebody like studying? Or
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the girl with the cat on the ledge.
yeah.
and stuff.
It's an anime
you,
thing.
You shared that with me.
Yeah. Yep. It's called Chilled.
There's a bunch of channels like that, and it's like it's cool because it's like modern elevator music
Right.
is what I like, and it does
Yeah.
actually relax the shit out
It
of
does.
me.
Yeah.
And they're doing that on the fly, right?
No.
It's live.
I think those are pre-recorded songs that they just play like in a playlist. They're basically DJing it.
Yeah.
And then there's usually like 8,000 people like listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
You know?
But the same thing is, they'll have a discussion and people will be talking and chatting within that thing. But I also always like play it like in the morning when I'm working or while I'm drawing or something.
yeah.
But it's kind of cool. Those discussions get on like some weird ass tangents though.
Yeah.
Like
I can't imagine
there's-
because that's got a lot of kids in it.
it does. And like there's always this one guy that's just like, you all need Jesus. You all need Jesus.
Oh my god.
and then all these other kids are just like, oh, I love this stuff, and like there's no reason to like kill yourself. Like you can be happy again. Like just like all this weird. Oh man, it's insane.
Well, I've been listening to that a lot lately, and I've seen a lot of like back to school bitching. They're like,
Yeah.
I cannot believe I have to fucking
Oh,
go back to
man.
fucking school.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh. What about Twitch? What there are other things that they do? They have like where everyone can control a video game.
Oh yeah, like Twitch plays Pokemon. That
I
was
haven't
pretty
seen
funny.
them do that for a while.
They
Oh,
always
yeah.
have that going now. So they have like a category called Twitch Plays now. Since that was like so popular, and now no one gives a shit. It was just kind of like a one-hit wonder type thing.
Man, I forgot
There's
about
all
that.
sorts of shit like that, and there was actually a really really cool one where it was Twitch Plays the stock market, and this guy had like $10,000 or something where they'd be like buy sell, you know.
Jesus.
And it ended up getting it was going okay, and then eventually it just got out of hand and people were trolling, and he lost like $6,000 out of it or something. Like
They gotta get stuff.
so they pulled the plug on that one.
Dang.
That's
So
awesome.
how does that work exactly? Because I know Twitch, there's some back end stuff on Twitch that's actually insane. Like if they have the way that some channels can partner with like their Discord and like use that as like a notes area where you can get like deck lists or you can get like,
Oh yeah.
some like
Well-
loadout, like whatever the loadout is.
So for the Twitch plays in particular, it's just text command. So you'd be like exclamation point move up, you know? So then you have like 50 people fighting, or probably closer to 1,000 people fighting for control of the character. But I'm not sure about any of the technology of that shit, you know? So
Yeah.
I think it's all text for that though.
So like on a Pokemon, you would say go up, and then you would
Yeah.
go up, but then like 100 other people would say go left.
Yeah,
Or
it's,
right.
it's hilarious because when it first started, again, it was going pretty good, and then people realized they could fuck with it. So like people were intentionally trying to like pull up menu, like delete item, and so
man.
basically the only item that didn't get deleted was the Helix fossil. So everyone was praising the Helix fossil as if it were God.
Oh my god!
It's like all praise
Wait,
Helix.
So I forget. Did they actually get all the way through the game, or
Yeah, they beat it.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So
Well,
to
you-
like
so you
get
think
enough
it's insane,
Pokemon
but, like-
to level them up to beat all
Well,
this. Like
What's impressive is the entire time someone's trying to release your Pokemon.
Right.
So I think what ended up happening was there was just like one Pokemon left, and like it was just like really strong or something. I don't remember,
insane.
but
like it's the only one they use.
yeah. It's just like I think
You
it was like
can't release
Eradicate.
your last Pokemon.
You have to have one in your party.
Because then the game ends.
Yeah,
you know. But I don't know.
That's insane.
It's
dude.
still crazy. Yeah.
There's millions of like for the Pokemon one in particular, like you said, that was the first and the most popular by far. There's millions of inputs though. So
I know it's really cool.
every minute.
What's cool about that is it's never gonna end up the same.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Except they were in the rocket hideout, you know, with the little spinny discs or whatever. They were there for like 5 days because it was like,
dude, I've been there for 5 days by myself.
What about that cave where you have to like slide in the ice? Like that would have been horrible.
I don't think that was in the original game, was it?
Oh
yeah, no, it's in Seafoam Island, but you don't have to go there.
Okay.
That's for like
That's for Articuno,
now.
maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're right. And they would have just released Articuno if you even got to catch it.
Yeah, no, there was no chance of
Catching
getting
the
a
Pokemon,
legendary Pokemon. Like, can you imagine trying to get that Pokemon to a sliver of health while everyone in the world is trying to stop you?
Run.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they ran away again.
True. Well, on a somber note, we do have to bring this up because it does affect the pop culture. I mean, it's gaming tournaments. Trey and I have been watching a lot of gaming tournaments and participating at least here and there in the last couple decades. But two Madden professional gaming players were shot and killed in Jacksonville, Florida last weekend, right after the podcast, like I said at the top of the show. Pretty somber note there. There's not really much else to say. We just definitely have to mention it. Maybe a small discussion about how Marco Rubio needs to do something now. that little man, the little hands guy, whatever.
The crazy thing about this thing to me is like I had heard a lot of talk about. So a lot of news outlets glossed over the fact it was a Madden tournament, and they went immediately to the violent video game thing, you know, and like video games bringing up violence.
The mental gymnastics you have to make, dude. Well, Jesus Christ.
I look at it more as like politicians like using any skeezy death to like further their agenda, more likely. But like at any rate, like the funny thing about that is like it was a non-violent video game that's like a football game. So like the argument is like, wait, is football what's begetting all this violence?
Yeah.
Is it that we've raised a bunch of like sore losers that are super entitled? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
There was, I'm sure, NFL and Madden probably had a say.
Well, funny you say that, Nick. EA did definitely have a bunch of statements, just like other gaming companies. I mean, other developers have a whole bunch of stuff to say. Everything. I mean, the gaming industry, I mean, I've said this a million times, but it's bigger and makes more money than music and movies put together.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Gaming is by far, I mean, if you think about $250 million a month just for Fortnite, that's on a weaker month for just Epic Games.
No, there's a 1.5 million tournament at PAX right now. So, like...
Is it PAX East?
I think it's West, actually,
But anyway, EA, they canceled all the rest of the Madden tournaments for the rest of the year. So this affects the hundreds of pros across the nation, across the world. And then, of course, there's a lot of pressure now on Marco Rubio, like I said. Just a week ago, last Sunday, breaking the fourth wall, we record on Sundays. On Twitch, you could watch, because it was live streamed. The tournament was live streamed. You could watch it happen like in real time. You can watch those clips. Of course, they went onto Twitter, like most awful things go nowadays.
Can you imagine like just like watching like a League of Legends like LAN tournament and just suddenly you're so confused because people are standing up and running and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And you're like, oh shit.
I watch so much Twitch. I mean, I watch maybe as much as you, I don't know, but I watch a lot. So yeah, that would be insane. I was just watching League of Legends yesterday on the elliptical, and just to think about like I have a weird connection with some of those players. I mean, it's way different than it was in 2011, 12, 13 when I was way big into it and actually playing the game. Now I'm just a spectator. But I'm like, if one of those players, like yesterday, Bjergsen, who's been on TSM, Team Solo Mid, forever, easily the longest running team solo mid player now. He plays mid lane, which is not my favorite lane, but he's like always plays cool like champs. Like he's been playing Aurelia, which just had a rework. Anyway, I'm getting out. Well, I could talk about some league here, but
that's my favorite character actually is Aurelia.
Oh yeah, I want to name my daughter Aurelia. Seriously, I love that. I love that name. I love names that end in A, and I just love it. But anyway, he was playing her yesterday. Yeah, you're right. Like to see just all of a sudden like the commentators, the game commentators just to like go, okay, sorry guys, we have an emergency or whatever.
Yeah, flip it off.
Jesus. Yeah. And there's hundreds of people that watch these like the LCS, like the League Championship Series, the summer split. There's hundreds of people that are there live. Man.
I think the like true piece of irony of the Madden shooting it was at a place called Good Luck Have Fun. You know, that's like
GLHF.
Yeah, it's like totally backwards ass. Like I don't know. It's like we're here to have a good time and like kind of celebrating the fact we're all making money off video games, basically. Right? And it's like okay, and it's just too bad that like to me those guys were great players that died. You know, and it's kind of a shame. Like this is bad to say, but it's a shame that it wasn't just like random neckbeards and these were like pro players that were like smart guys that even if it wasn't going to be video games probably had a future just because they're like intelligent thinking people, you know, and this little like entitled prick decides so
he got knocked out of the tournament earlier in the day, I believe. We're looking on the video screen here, but he was just featured on literally the Buffalo Bills Twitter account, I believe last year.
Yeah,
because
it was for 2017.
Yeah, because he did well in a tournament there. I mean, we're not even gonna say his name. He looks like a piece of crap, but he's dead. Of course, he ended up taking his own life. But Nick,
the one thing I did think was kind of weird was he got a lot of screen time, like on the news and like I saw it at the gym, I saw it at work, saw it everywhere. Like they were showing like clips of his like interviews. And I feel like that doesn't really happen a lot when like
with a shooter.
With a shooter, like they usually don't get a lot of FaceTime. They get the victims and
like some like mugshot.
I feel like I saw him a lot and like the video of him a lot. And at first I didn't even know it was him because he had so much screen time.
Sure,
I thought it was
so you
just
said
someone,
victim. Yeah.
I thought he was just a victim or part of it. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, the reason why I chose the CNN article, I'm not usually a huge fan of CNN. I think they're okay to find when it comes to media coverage, but they really do a good job discussing EA and what EA is at that point in time, their statement, and also they talk about the incident, but they also talk about the victims, I believe, at the top here. So anyway, you're right. I saw him get a lot of screen time, which is not how they should be covering any of those things at all. And let's move on. There's not much else to say about that. I mean, it's just really sad. It affects the gaming industry. It affects competitive e-gaming, esports. I mean, it affects all that.
Well, like, I just don't know what they can really do moving forward. I mean, okay, so at these big events, like, say, PAX West that's going down right now, I mean, what are you going to do? Like, put metal detectors in and find everyone's Game Boys? You know, it's like one of those things that if people are determined enough to hurt people, I think it's really, really hard to do that. Yeah. Or to stop that, you know what I mean?
Right.
And, like, I just don't really know what steps they could even really take for such an event like that when there's so much metal shit being brought into these cons and stuff, like swords even, you know?
Yeah, what can you do? Have wands?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can, I don't know, wands maybe, yeah.
Do like a little TSA thing, put all your shit in this bucket, put it through the
machine. We have to take our shoes off at video games.
Thousands of people. I mean, that takes a long time. Ugh, it's just crazy. Let's move on though, guys. Let's talk about something that's affecting our city, great city of Des Moines. There's panhandling ordinances in Des Moines where police are ticketing people standing at the corners of interstates, really primarily. That's where I mostly see them, or obviously just busy intersections anywhere across the metro. These tickets can range to hundreds of dollars at a time. So when you have literally nothing, you're getting ticketed to pay fines for hundreds of dollars. I mean, the ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union of Iowa, has already challenged the bans in multiple cities. I believe Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, a couple other ones. Just want to pose some questions to you guys. Are these people preying on other people's sympathies? Are these people working the system?
So, I don't know why a homeless person would ever pay a fine.
Right.
I think that's pretty much like, I'm not paying this and I'm going to continue doing this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think, but homeless people to me in general, if you're standing up, you have no disabilities. I can't see your mental disabilities, but it's in a 5-minute conversation I've had with homeless people, it's pretty obvious whether or not they're like mentally disabled to the point where they can't work. I think there's two types of homeless people, the kind that are praying and then the kind that need assistance, you know?
Right. What do you say? What's your take on this, Nick?
The cops focusing all their attention on this and like getting them off the streets and stuff is a little bit BS. And yeah, with the fines, if they're panhandling to get money, they obviously don't have a whole lot of money in the first place, so how are they going to pay it? And then also they're saying, I mean, you can get a permit, I guess, a panhandling permit, but that also costs money, and it goes
you have time, money, you have to
it's like, I mean, it's not a whole lot. I think I was trying to look it up and I couldn't actually find the application on how to do it, but it from other like cities I've read that have a similar thing, it costs anywhere from like $10 to $20, and you have to fill out all this paperwork down to like how much you believe your estimated earnings will be for the year, and then you have to like reapply every year, and just like a bunch of this insane
income.
Dude, it's insane.
Panhandling permit is like some Orwellian bureaucracy.
Oh.
I can't talk. Bureaucracy shit. That's crazy.
Wow, yeah.
So it's just, it boggles my mind a little bit.
It's like the base level, like your rights. Like it's your base level, like professional.
To put your hands out.
Yes.
Essentially, like
So
to stand there.
that's why the what was it, the ACLU? Oops, dropped my phone. That's why they are trying to get all of this stopped, I guess, because it's basically your First Amendment rights. Jeez, okay, I'm dropping everything. I'm just gonna go ahead and drop my book too.
Yeah, just throw it, dude.
Yeah,
But
they're trying to repeal it, right?
Yeah, it's your freedom of speech. It's illegal.
Super illegal.
It is.
Oh, that's crazy that it would even be a conversation. It's not.
So I think it was WHO, but they had an interview with a guy who was panhandling, and he pulled out a ticket. He had the ticket right there. It said soliciting drivers or something, and he said that he got hurt at work. It broke his ribs, and then he messed up his leg, and somehow at work it didn't work out for him where he could get like paid leave or whatever. Like what's it called when you get hurt on a job?
Workers' comp?
Yeah, he couldn't get that. He has a family, so he's out there doing what he can. And I mean, he says he doesn't do drugs, doesn't drink. I mean, who knows, but he didn't look like he was, sketched out. I mean, just this one guy that was interviewed. I mean, I don't know if my mom told me this or what, but there was this notorious story growing up when I was in high school where there's this homeless person that would panhandle like right in front of the dealership, and then like a dealership off of Hickman, that Hickman intersection where you can get on the I-80, I think, and get on the Mixmaster. But he would do that, and then he would go sleep in his like nice brand new Cadillac, one of the big Cadillacs, SUV, Escalade. He'd go sleep in like the 2008 brand new one. So it's like, I don't know. I just feel like there could be, there's two different kind of sections of people. Like there's obviously the people that are just trying to help their family, and there could be people preying on others. But like, what are they? I don't really know. Like what's the average in an intersection? I mean, I see people getting 1.5s, maybe 10s, 20 at most. You could probably make in an hour. You could probably make a couple hundred. I don't know.
Yeah, I bet you could make at least $10 an hour. You know what I mean? Like at a busy thing, at least $10 an hour. And like, I don't really have a problem. Like that's like people that start GoFundMe's for like nothing. Yeah. Like,
oh yeah,
like buy me a new camera. Like it's exactly the same shit, but it's just like such a bigger stigma on it. Like I mean, all he's doing is standing there like this, and you're not asking this man the right questions before giving him money.
Yeah,
and he's taking the money in his open hands.
It's your choice to give him the money.
Yeah,
They're not like forcing you. That was part of the like the ordinance thing I was reading actually. they have a bunch of like stipulations on it on like when you can and can't do it, I guess, like not on private property. You can't do it in like a forceful way or a threatening way. So like some of those pieces makes a little bit of sense.
I mean, like a business, like how annoyed would you be? You're going to get your froyo.
Yeah.
You got to get your froyo on,
Yeah.
and there's this man trying to get it. Like he's like, I know you got fucking money because these guys take cash only. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
it's like,
I mean, in Chicago, that's a normal thing. Just when Lydia and I were out there in June, after we left the pizza place at like midnight or whatever time it was like midnight 1. There was a guy just waiting out there and getting a whole bunch of change and stuff. I mean, it's just like a normal thing.
That was another thing too. It said, so the only one I could find was like one for Tennessee, but I'm sure it's probably pretty similar. Was you can only do it during daylight hours. You can't do it during the night, or that's considered a misdemeanor. Yeah, there was like a lot of different things. So a lot of it like kind of made sense, like I was saying, but I don't know. They in that whole ACLU thing said it. They said it best. I think they said it was criminalizing poverty, is what they said. So I think that was
preying on preying on the poor with these ordinances.
I don't know.
Moving on to the other thing that was kind of like catching people's, it was like in the top of the discussions at work. It was this mysterious woman from Montgomery, Texas, ringing a doorbell. So like, you know how everyone has these nice new doorbells that have cameras on them. She was ringing the doorbell. And when she was walking up to it though, she was just wearing a shirt. She had shackles, it looked like, on her hands, and she looked like just distressed, completely like out of it, and she was just like slamming on the doorbell a bunch. I don't know, did you guys catch that video when it first popped up online? It kind of went viral.
I didn't see the video. I read the shit, but
Yeah, I didn't watch it either.
Oh, you didn't? We can I'll turn it on here in a little bit, on the video screen, just because it's not a very long clip at all, and it's kind of fun. I think this is it. Oh no, let's go. Oh, here it is. Okay, so we're watching this live on EZPZ Podcast, episode 86. You can catch all of our episodes though on TheEZPZ.com, and of course our YouTube channel. And we're watching a farmer's insurance commercial. They know me.
Oh,
That's
man.
my insurance.
Actually, that was a weird thing about the movie real quick. It was all commercials.
Oh
Up
man,
and-
yeah.
up until-
So the previews.
That's so weird.
Yeah, the previews. Yeah, let's pop back now. Look at this.
Sorry.
No, it's okay because I think it's a good point to bring up. That's why I wanted to discuss more so was the theater itself, but in our discussion, but it's okay. So back to our first topic of the show. While we let this load, let this ad roll. Speaking of ads. At the theater, at the Cobblestone Theater, all the stuff in like the previews, you know, when they usually have like
Movie trivia,
or like the popcorn, like, you know, they show the Coca-Cola ad, like ads that are like pertain to movies.
yeah, I've seen what you're talking about. Yeah,
It's like pre-done, like pre-made content specifically for the theater. Anyway, this is the AMC theater, and they were having just straight up advertisements.
yeah, like Geico commercials.
Yeah.
yeah. No, I know
was
what you're
weird.
talking about. They're paying more.
don't
They don't have to self-promote when you're at the theater. Like,
yeah, I'd never seen that. I felt weird.
It made sense when there was only 6 people in this probably like 50, 60 person theater.
They're getting paid by those people to play their ads
for
before
sure.
the movie.
I've never understood why they would spend so much time. Like, I always had this thought where they're promoting the movie theater that you're already sitting in and probably have some sort of loyalty to, because people weirdly have connections to movie theaters.
I know, right?
Like,
I was thinking
Mostly
that.
location, I feel, but I know what you mean.
well, I mean, I go to either Cobblestone or Flicks. I don't like going to Jordan Creek because their soft seats are ass. You know what I mean? And I've always gone to Cobblestone, and there's no reason why I should want to go there. But
Flix is by far one of my favorite experiences.
yeah, it's great.
Even with like now we're discussing theaters, but even with like the waitresses and waiters running by, like it's still not that bad.
No.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like it takes me out of the experience. The lighting too is like, I like good lighting in the theater, but
So you're
like
not,
that's
like,
not
tripping
intrusive.
Yeah. No,
So
they
I
do
don't.
it
So I
smart.
know where to walk.
Yeah.
No, they have smart lighting.
Smart lighting, yeah. That's a
And
good
the
way
way
to put it.
they do it is respectful too, just doing like the button thing, and they're always ducking, you know, like, yeah.
Well, I just think it's smart that the theaters are using that like dead air basically to
Right.
sell more shit, you know,
Yeah.
because I'm sure movie theaters are like dealing with some like decline in participation or whatever it is, because the kids are watching YouTube, the adults are watching Netflix.
I'm watching Twitch.
Yeah, the fucking man children like us are fucking over here watching Pokemon marathons on Twitch. Like, we're all spoken for at this point, you know? Who wants to, like, drive 10 minutes to spend $30 to watch a movie you could rent for $4?
So the reason why we went to this movie is because I got Nick movie tickets, 4 tickets for his birthday, back in March, and we wanted to go see Deadpool 2. It didn't work out just because in our summer was just music festivals and just craziness. So finally, him and Shayna texted Lydia and I about going to this film. So we went. So the tickets were paid for essentially, and then we got popcorn. I was kind of surprised because even at Cobblestone, $10 for a large popcorn. Wow.
They'll get you, bro. That's $1 at home.
I know, right?
$1.
At most.
Yeah, because you get one of those big, like, $4. You get the grains of popcorn or what kernels.
Well, Lydia's aunt got her, like, this popcorn thing, so we've just been eating that off for the last 2-3 years.
Yeah, but it's crazy to me that they'd charge that much, but whatever.
I'm okay with it because, like you said, if Cobblestone were to go away, it would suck because it is a really good. I like how we were like the only ones in there. I wish the Vape Plumers were gone, but
well, there was that one theater on Merle Hay that shut down.
Silver Lights.
Nova.
Oh no, Nova was my favorite.
Yeah, it was like $4 movies.
Yeah,
or
they were
something.
super cheap, and didn't they keep the movies on a little bit longer? So it was like the older ones that were like kind of.
Well,
out
They got the ones that had been out for a
while.
while too, which was fine because who's gonna see it on open? Like there's a subsect of people that are psycho about going on Thursday night 7 p.m. for showing.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It's not my thing, but
Yeah, I've never been like a first opening night movie guy. Like even for stuff I care a lot about, like Star Wars and shit, I'm not gonna wait in the line.
The first Star Wars, it was episode 7, I think. Yeah, right.
The newest one. Yeah.
I went opening night with B-Word just because somebody he was supposed to go with ended up canceling. It might have been you, Nick. I don't know.
Could have been.
Well, I don't know.
I cancel a lot of things.
I don't think you cancel a lot, but I don't know. Anyway, someone canceled on him. And so I'm like, okay, I'll go. And it was actually kind of cool because I think it was at Flix. Yeah, it was at Flix. And it was like so much energy. The energy was really cool. So I will say that's cool to go to that.
The environment, yeah.
But let's get back on track, guys. Taking a tangent like we usually do, which I love.
The lemon hole.
The lemon hole. Thank you. So we're looking at our video screen here up on the wall. We got the video. I just want you guys to watch. I want to hear your live reactions. Uh-oh. I thought it loaded. It says it's loaded, but it's like stunting with this like TV.
It's a ghost.
Host. She's just like weirding me out now.
Oh, she's got shackles on her wrist.
Oh man.
It's just because I made it too big. So here's the video. She's just like ringing the doorbell, going psycho, and that's literally all it is. It's just this little clip, and it went live. It went viral. Excuse me.
I mean, that is really weird. So, yeah, man.
You see the single like shirt that she's wearing. You can't really tell if she's wearing like anything even underneath it. She has shackles on her wrists. So let's get into the actual details that have come out. They have hidden her identity. They found her after this was like crazy, like over a day. Like everyone's freaking out. Like I said, this went viral. So keep that as like your frame of thought on this. She's ended up going to a family, getting a hold of her family and getting with her family. Now she's safe and sound and everything. So they found her and they identified her and they went to her house and they found her boyfriend, 49 years old. She's 32 apparently. 49-year-old boyfriend dead in the house. Apparently though, the preliminary investigations say that it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound and there was a suicide note. And they believe, and just obviously with interviewing her and whatnot, that she was a victim without those shackles. I mean, it wasn't like some...
It looked like tape or something. It didn't really look like full-on metal shackles.
Well, leather.
Sure, like leather. Like, yeah. Shackles to me implies like super heavy metal with like chain links on them.
Sure. I guess you're right. I'm not using a word that they were using in the article or anything. I think they were using bondage.
It's probably just like handcuffs. It kind of looked like that to me, but
yeah. So she was she was a victim of abuse, family violence victim.
Weird. So this kind of reminds me. I haven't actually watched the movie, but I think it's Gerald's Game on Netflix.
Okay,
is that what it is? Like a
yeah. I know exactly.
I think it's like a Stephen King thing or something.
Yeah.
She's like shackled up, and then he like croaks, and then she's all like stuck. I don't know. What if it was just like a weird sex thing? But how did he die? He shot himself.
Here's my personal narrative here. If we want to get into fan theories here.
All right, fan theories.
Okay. So basically, she was leaving him. He's like, "You're not leaving
You're not
shit
going anywhere."
Ties her up. He's like, "You're gonna watch me kill my fucking self." Boom.
Oh man.
Honestly, that's highly plausible.
She
You were
chewed
talking
through
about
the
this.
leather bonds.
Yeah,
Nick, you were talking about how this could be a movie.
Dude,
I bet it will be.
I'm making my own movie at this point.
All right, copyright.
I'm not giving rights to nobody.
They were interviewing some neighbors, and they were saying that she rang the doorbell 20, 30 times. Then all of a sudden she disappeared into thin air, and that's like oh my god, the doorbell is like a 480p camera that only shows just the walkway to the door. But she was going crazy, like banging on a whole bunch of people's houses. Anyway, this is not anything nuts, but I think like just the amount of like viral attention it got, at least in my world, my coworkers were talking about it a bunch. It was kind of interesting.
Weird.
No, there's a good amount of like intrigue and mystery around that story,
like
enough that you can like speculate and like make your own like movie scripts.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure she's gonna get like a 60 minutes interview in like a month or so, and she'll tell her whole story, and it'll be really heartbreaking.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that she's okay.
Super patronizing.
I didn't mean for it to be.
God dang it, man. She was a victim, man.
No, I know.
Come on, Nick.
I want to know her story.
Speaking of women that have become victims, with the Me Too movement, we've covered a lot of incidents where people have been sent out to pasture, like Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby. But on a different related note, Riot Games has come under extreme scrutiny over the last couple months after a exhaustive expose came out on Kotaku, which is probably, I love IGN. I love IGN. I've been reading it for 15 years-ish. But Kotaku is easily the gaming industry's leader on uncovering and all of like the worst parts about the gaming industry. They did a really good job just recently with the Philip Mewson IGN plagiarism incident.
That was good.
They just really do a good job like getting all this stuff out in the open. And I have to give a shout out again to Jason Schreier, who is probably the only real journalist in the gaming industry. When the whole drama with Colin Moriarty, I'm sure you guys have heard about it kind of, but he used to work at IGN. Then he broke off with Greg Miller, the two of like the PlayStation's biggest like talking heads. Like they were huge, easily the biggest two PlayStation discussion gaming industry journalists or whatever. They broke off to make Kind of Funny, and then after a year of that, during Women's International Day, there was like something a couple years ago where people were, about a year ago now, it's a day where women were gonna like not go to work just because of this Me Too movement and everything, as a protest to their employers and to all this stuff, just to bring awareness. On that day, he had a tweet that said, peace and quiet, hashtag Women's Day or whatever. It's like a stupid like sitcom joke level. Yeah. But the amount of scrutiny he got for that tweet made him leave the company that he co-founded. Kind of funny. So the way
it is kind of funny.
But he's one of my favorites, top 3 if not top 5 gaming journalists of all time, easily. But anyway, the amount of respect and like actually getting to the story and the point that Jason Schreier gave him compared to other outlets who just wrote him off as a sexist person just for a simple tweet, and then they uncovered a bunch of other crap on him. But anyway, Jason Schreier, so much respect to him. So much respect to Kotaku because Cecilia de Anastasio, she actually uncovered this Riot Games situation where women were getting mistreated. There were a whole bunch of jokes, even like in meetings where it'd be bros before hoes. They would like say stuff like that, like in meetings with other women. How can you do that in the corporate world? So I come from a gigantic corporation, Fortune 500, whatever it is. And there's no way I would say that in a meeting at all.
Well, yeah, my buddy works for your company, and he said, like, one of his first meetings, he dropped, like, a "that's what she said," and everyone just, like, stops and, like, turns their head to him, and, like, he had to go through, like, some sensitivity training or shit after that, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, these aren't your friends. These are your coworkers. You can't say those kinds of things at work.
You definitely, it's professionalism to the max, which I appreciate, and... yeah, going somewhere else.
There's a place for that stuff, and it's with your friends, like right now.
Yeah. Well, okay, so to me, the Riot thing is a result of like an underdeveloped industry. So like banks and stuff, they've been around like hundreds of years. They've had time to develop these, but like gaming in particular is generally people that are passionate about gaming, which means they probably don't come from like traditional work backgrounds, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or they're fresh out of college, you know?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Real quick, I do want to talk about, mention what was going on down, but that's a really good take. I want to come back. We'll circle back to that, Trey. So rampant misogyny, women were being mistreated. Those jokes were being cracked left and right in front of a bunch of women. Women were passed up for promotions. And in this exhaustive expose, those aren't my words. Those are the words of the article. I forget what it was on. No, it wasn't Kotaku. Oh, GameInformer.com. They use those exact words. I love it because I do remember reading it on Kotaku just a couple weeks ago, and it was just so exhausting. Like, it gets deep. There's so much disgusting stuff going on. I actually wanted to bring this up a couple months ago, but with festival season and whatnot, we had so much other stuff to talk about. And then in that expose, though, former female employees of Riot Games were speaking up about their particular things where literally just like at the coffee maker, there would be some disgusting joke about how this guy like was like one night stand this girl, like just right in front of like other women and whatnot. So that kind of like just gross culture, bros before hoes type thing, frat boy type situation. So I'll kick it to you, Trey. Can you repeat what you were saying though? It's like
basically an underdeveloped industry, and they haven't had like the chance to have to bring in these like sensitivity training and stuff. And especially when we're talking about gamers who have been like so like brought up in the internet culture where generally what you say does not have repercussions. Right. Bringing them into like $1 billion industry to $1 billion company, like, you know what I mean? Expecting them to have professionalism without real training for that or like an expectation, especially when it's like an industry that's meant to be like fun, and like having like passion and being goofy is going to like make you better at your job, but
you're so right, Trey. Like, you're doing what you love, you're working on what you love, whether that you're part of the marketing team, the development team, the planning team of like events around this. Like, you have to go to E3. I mean, there's so many things. You're covering something that you're super passionate about. League of Legends is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle game, right? Just like Fortnite.
Oh, I mean, there's so many of those at this point. Right. Just like subcultures that are one game.
It's so hard to like, I guess what I just said at the top of the topic here was, there's a place for that discussion. Well, if you're with your friends talking, hanging out and working on discussing like the things that you love, I mean, you almost like your mind is warped to where it's like, I'm with just friends. And then maybe that I'm not giving any like leeway to these people because there's no room at the workplace, dude, for that.
Well, you don't have to have fun at someone else's expense. Exactly. And it's just something that these guys haven't. Dude, I guarantee 90% of the people working there are under 25. You know what I mean? And it's just they don't realize how their shit's affecting other people, you know? And I'm not like giving them leeway or anything like that. I'm just saying this is because it's a new company and like a new idea like that's coming to the world, and there's going to be a lot more of shit like this coming in the future. And companies just like when they start their new venture, like whether it's like new VR game or whatever it is, need to like have that expectation like from the get-go, you know what I mean? So
right.
Nick, I agree. They're gonna have to like start off with a bit more professionalism and almost a little more of like a PC HR aspect of it, I guess.
Well, yeah, because a lot of these are coming out of people's garages and shit. You know what I mean?
Yep. And yeah, you're right. They just don't have any knowledge of that, I guess. There's no like professionalism aspect of it, or like corporation, like, behind it, I guess.
Yeah, if they'd worked at Wells for 5 years before they went to Riot, sure, I'm sure they'd... sorry, I didn't mean to drop that, but anyway...
what are we talking about? Wells Fargo is just a gigantic company that employs 270,000 people across the world.
Exactly. So if you'd worked at like a bigger corporation for a few years and then went to Riot, I'm sure that your professionalism would be on a different level. You wouldn't even like think like that at all.
And yeah, what you said about mainly just being bunch of kids under 25, that's probably pretty close to accurate. And I think, I don't really know because I don't really follow the gaming industry as much as you guys, but I feel like for a long time there, it was just more of a boys club.
No, it's a bunch of incels, dude. And now, for real.
Yeah, and now there are a lot of women that are getting into the industry, and I think they're kind of like a little bit cringing at it.
It's a culture shock.
Yeah. And then they don't know how to handle it, I guess.
Yeah, you're totally right. Boys rule, girls rule. No, I'm just kidding. But after this expose came out, the Riot Games posted a blog post on their website, pretty much recognizing it, acknowledging it, and announced and saying that they will have more to come. Then they posted about of the steps that they're taking, which are like expanding their existing diversity and inclusion team. Having everyone kind of like in the office when this...
share the sensitivity training. There's a long list of shit they're doing, dude. Like,
exactly, yeah.
And they were talking about it being a complete corporate culture shift, and that sounds like what it needed, now everyone's going to be walking on eggshells, and I'm sure from this point on, Riot's going to be getting rid of the people that are inappropriate, and it's going to be a complete shift for them.
Riot is one of the gaming industry's biggest companies for sure right now. We have Tencent, we have Epic, Riot, of course 2K and
Blizzard,
and Blizzard, Activision, and EA. There's Nintendo, sure. So what I'm saying is they're in the top 10 probably.
Yeah, no, they are.
Although League of Legends has waned in popularity so much,
it's still so popular, dude.
It's top 3 on Twitch no matter what.
I think that we have as Twitch heads, we put
Nice.
so much value on like the directory, the top of the directory's numbers. So like the second like League of Legends like wanes like 100,000 viewers or something, like dead game. It's like, but dude, there's still 700,000 people watching. You know what I mean? It's still extremely popular.
Worlds happens every year in October, and they always hit close to, hundreds of thousands, 300-400 at a time watching that tournament, where the Koreans will crush everybody.
Well, and not to mention the WoW expansion just came out, so that's going to fight for Riot's attention too, because it's kind of RPG game, so similar fan base, and there's just a bunch of shit that could be. I don't think that this really is going to impact. The people that watch League of Legends or play League of Legends do not give a shit about this. This is more like a future audience kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, they can't grow if this is what their company looks like.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say with this investors, which I believe a Chinese company owns the most percentage of stock in Riot Games right now. This just happened 2015, 2016, but they're going to clamp down on this. This is $1 billion company. They're definitely not.
They can't afford to.
Exactly. Yeah. So I have hopes that Riot Games will rise from the ashes on this one and definitely clean up their act. Very, very awesome, though. I do appreciate Kotaku always doing some great journalism and bringing this stuff to light. They have too much responsibility in the gaming industry for sure. Just like 2K and. When I mentioned that, I was kind of repeating it in my head about how I said gaming industry is worth more than music and film put together. And I was like, wait, because you were so surprised at that, Trey. I was just like, wait, is that true? No, it is true. I've heard it 100 times. And I know it's true because if you think about it, GTA made $1 billion in a single day. And that is like a lifetime of a film. Like Avengers made $1 billion after like 9 months or something,
But so like movie studios, so like a big game release is gonna be like that studio's like gonna be taking up, unless it's like a huge studio, I guess, like EA or whatever. But like it's gonna be taking up a majority of that studios time to make it, you know, while bigger production companies for movies, they got like 10 movies going at once. They're already probably shooting the next Avengers, you know.
Right, and they have been for years.
Yeah, it's just a constant stream. Like, when's the next GTA gonna come out? Like 4 years, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how long is the development cycle for games now? It can be quite a long time, right?
If you think about Avengers, besides the Avengers, the last one that just came out with Thanos, and then the next one in May, it's usually like a couple of years, 2-3 years in between too.
Well, but then you got like there's going to be 2 Iron Man movies between
right,
that.
Yeah.
There's going to be like another Black Panther movie.
Sure.
There's going to be 2
the
more
Venom
Spider-Man movies. Like,
yep.
And it's just like a constant stream of like, I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong. It sounds like you probably have a better idea of the finances of that shit.
Like, I gotta look. This
is all assumptions, dude. This is like no research.
I gotta do some homework on it. It's been an awesome episode, though, guys. I appreciate you guys coming out as always with my 2 favorite homies. Anything else you want to discuss? Anything we got going on this Labor Day weekend?
Oh, dude, I'm just hoping to catch some of that summer skirmish at PAX today. There's some good shit going on.
Okay, so
it's a Fortnite tournament, a $1.5 million tournament. First place is $227,000. It's
bonkers. So is it team based though?
No, this one's a solo tournament, which is, in my opinion, my favorites. Like, I like the duos and stuff, but it's hard to cover it. It's harder to cover it because you have someone like having to cover the conversation between the people as well as like individual plays and shit, you know, and commentating and whatnot. But that's like really fun to watch. I've been loving it because it's really cool to see 99 to 100 pros go in and one pro fucking wins.
I know.
So
that's
it's
insane.
like everyone is like super lethal, like gonna headshot you no matter what. It's just like really high stress, really fun to watch.
So is Ninja gonna be there?
Ninja's not gonna be at PAX. He's involved in almost all the summer skirmishes stuff. I don't know why he's not there in particular, but
would you say he is the best player? Because I will say real quick, I have never seen anyone as good as him. And I didn't watch near as much as you on Twitch. That's not the main game I watch. Cypher PK is very good as well. But I can't see anybody better than Ninja.
So basically these tournaments, it's such like an objective thing. There's so many things that matter in Fortnite. So you can say Ninja's really good. I would say Ninja's really good at trick shots and really flashy plays. But as far as like tournament play goes, he hasn't got there yet. He's like actually training and working really hard to get good. But I would say Team Liquid and Team Ghost are the guys that basically hold down the entire scene, in my opinion.
Real quick about Team Liquid, sorry to interrupt, Trey, but they actually had an Acer commercial as one of the ads in Cobblestone.
That's what it
said.
Weird.
It actually played twice or 3 times, but it said Acer Computers is the official computers used by Team Liquid, which is one of the one of the biggest League of Legends teams too. Like,
they're the most winning team in esports,
Wow.
so they've won more money than any other team.
So for listeners playing at home, and maybe even you, Nick, what we mean by that is like, there is a team, right?
Yeah.
But there's multiple teams based off of what game they play. So, like, there's a Counter-Strike team. Or there's
Liquid has a Counter-Strike team, a League of Legends team, a Fortnite team.
StarCraft 2, possibly.
So it'd be like the Kansas City Chiefs had a basketball team, a football team, a baseball team, you know.
Really well put, yeah. So, as you were saying, sorry, Trey.
So I would say the best players in the game right now. So Nate Hill, he's on Team FaZe. We got Liquid 72 Hours, Liquid Chap, Liquid Poach, and Liquid Vivid, who just joined the team like 3 or 4 days ago. This kid has won 4 out of the last 6 summer skirmishes, and like went from at the beginning of the summer having 10 viewers to having like 2,000 every day, you know, just from like being incredibly good at this game, you know, and he was a metal worker and quit his job, all this crazy shit.
Kid? Like
he's like 19, 20 some.
Are you of the mindset or the opinion that once you hit like a certain age, it does affect your Twitch abilities?
So not Twitch abilities.
Your snap gameplay?
So snap gameplay. I thought you were talking about broadcasting abilities.
Oh, no.
Like there's broadcasters that go pretty old. I would say for like the extreme like esports reaction shit, logically your brain just slows down, you know? So I guess at the highest level, you're probably going to see a fall off at like 25, 26, you know? But I think that if you're willing to grind harder than the fucking kids, like,
Right.
what's really stopping you? If you're smarter than the kids, like, that flick is only a third of the game. You know?
can only stay on your parents' health insurance till 26 too.
That's when you're like, okay,
I'm just thinking
of like, bro.
Well, I'm just thinking of like for me, you know, that was a huge. I was never on my parents' insurance, I guess, but that would have been a huge thing for me, not having a real full-time job, maybe not even being on a team like Team Liquid, Team Solo Mid, Team C9 or Cloud9. You know, like the professional teams, you don't have those benefits like you would at a normal job. So like,
it's incredibly risky. I don't know how like a 16-year-old kid could like take that risk, you know, and how he could basically talk his parents into like letting him take that risk, you know, of like, hey, I can't go to school anymore because I have to fucking play video games 10 hours a day so that I can get on this professional team that thousands of people are applying to every day. Like, it's
once that money starts coming in, though, man, is if you invest it properly, like, you're golden. Right?
Yeah, no doubt, man. There's I mean, Ninja makes 6 figures a month or whatever, and like
easily.
Yeah.
He got that co-signed by Drake that really boosted him, though. Wasn't just he was huge before, right? But that
I mean,
stream
he went from like 70,000 average to like 100,000 consistently after that, you know, and then like after the Fortnite competitive shit started becoming more popular than like the clips, then Ninja started going back down to like 80,000. Like,
yeah. Very interesting stuff. I could talk about Twitch with you, Trey, all day, especially now that like most of my League of Legends people I watch, they aren't even on teams. They were in seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're on season 8, and the Worlds is going to happen at the end of October. And I mean, they retire and then they get 20,000, maybe even a little bit more a day, and that's fine with them, I guess.
Well, yeah, no, they go from competing to broadcasting like the same way Charles Barkley or Shaq went to commentating, essentially. You know, it's like you can only once you realize like your stream or like broadcasting is worth just as much, pretty much, if not more, than these competitions. The value of the competitions kind of goes down. You know what I mean? Like, so the chance at the prize pool is worth less than just being on Twitch, being there, getting your donations, getting your subs, and like. They make that choice, you know. It's being a competitive gamer is no fucking joke. It's you have to keep up. It's like they can change the entire game in one day, and now you have to learn a new game. It's like now the football is round instead of being a football shape, and you have to fucking deal with it that day. You know,
that's such a good point. Yeah, it's not like we see very many rules change at all in other professional sporting.
When was the last time there was a change in baseball? Like, never.
Right. Well, then all the olds would not like it because
it's like
back in my day, it was so much better when they had a round baseball.
Well, I mean, those rules do change. I'm sure that, like, especially with football, there's some new concussion rule or something.
Yeah.
But
what it really comes down to is the teams change so frequently, and then the drafting and the fantasy football aspect where like this player got injured and this affects this entire team.
Well, I mean, you still have that in esports too, though. So on Team FaZe, there was this guy, Stray Shot, who was the 4th member, but basically had to go to a sub because he was having family crisis, you know, and it's one of those things that life still happens in esports, even if you don't think that they have a life, you know, like.
Totally. I love how you're defending the homies out there, all the gaming industry and the esports. If you don't call competitive gaming a sport, you can straight get fucked.
Well, here's my argument. So if you consider NASCAR a sport, then pro gaming is a sport. If you don't consider NASCAR a sport, then you don't have to consider pro gaming a sport.
Well, I don't know how you couldn't. It takes so much concentration and there's so much risk involved in every turn. I'm not a huge NASCAR fan at all, but like there's so much... you have to be physically fit to sit in a car. I know it sounds weird, but the whole...
You have to have core strength and shit.
Exactly. In arm and shoulder, arm strength, you're turning a 5,000-pound car at 250 miles an hour, not trying to hit other cars so you spin out and die. And then the other team that's changing your wheels out every 20 laps or whatever, they have to be quick. They have to be fast as hell.
I just don't know why people are so concerned with like the title of
Categorizing.
sport. You know, it's like, I don't care if you call it a sport. It's a competition. Whether you think it's a sport or not, or I think it's a sport or not, that isn't relevant to the fact there is a competition.
Sure.
You
Yeah,
know?
I guess that's a good point. I was a little bit heavy-handed on that one.
No, I mean, like, I get it why people like do it. They have pride in the shit they're doing. They want to be held to the same level as a football player, but I don't care. You know, like.
Agreed. What do we got going on today, boys? Besides, or I guess Nick, because I just heard what you want to do. Trey?
Don't know. It's actually getting really nice out, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
We might be doing this pool party, huh, Nick?
I don't know, maybe. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Well, you and I can always head out, you know? Maybe we drive separate. Maybe we drive
My sister's having a keg today.
a kegerator?
Oh.
Yeah. My aunt and my cousin are in town, so I'll probably end up going to that at least for a little bit. Have some adult beverages, you know.
Yeah.
Are you of age, sir?
Help tuck that keg.
I don't act like it.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us for episode 86 of EZPZ Podcast. Coming at you from Studio EZPZ. You can find all of our stuff on TheEZPZ.com, our YouTube channel. You're probably watching this on YouTube or Facebook. If you're watching on either of those, give me a shout out. I'm at Shaun S. Johnson, at TheEZPZ. You can give us a shout out on either of those. Let me know what you like watching it on and what you want to see more of. We just talk about pop culture, stuff that we care about, mostly gaming, movie, music related. Festival season's over, but a lot of good shows just got announced, like that R.O. Grime, Odessa show, Sunday, Milwaukee, Sunday of like Halloween weekend. I really, really want to go. Odessa, R.O. Grime in the same freaking night, dude. Literally not a better tour this year, except for maybe Turnstile Every Time I Die.
Ooh.
Which I'm going to be going to as well. Have to go to at least the Kansas City date. I'll just go into work super tired. I'll go on a weekday. I don't care. But I'm not missing ETID. You can find Nick. Where can I find you actually?
Instagram bazooka_.
Yeah, and you got some bookmarks, homie.
Yeah.
I love that.
That was good looking. I liked it.
Knowledge is power. Hillbilly on there, making those bookmarks. I got one over here in my book that I'm reading. I think it's Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss. Been reading it off and on here for like 2 years, a year and a half. I love it. Just getting good.
How big is this? How many pages?
Well, I just it's. We don't have to go on the huge discussion on it, but it's like a little. It's like chicken noodle for the soul.
Like little tips that you slowly add in.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I meditate every single day, is because of Tim Ferriss and Joe Rogan, but mainly Tim Ferriss in this book. And I'm at like 190 something days consecutive. So beast mode. Trey, where can they find you?
Totally Trey or twitch.tv/totallytrey, totally_Trey on Instagram, and totally.Trey. Or is it backwards? I'm so fucked, dude.
It's okay.
I just don't spend enough time. I mean, I do spend a lot of time on social media, but I just don't look at my name.
No, I mean, I can do it pretty quick. Twitch.tv/totallytrey for all of his Twitch streams. What are you playing right now, mainly?
Fortnite right now. I'm not streaming until probably the 12th, and then I'm gonna be probably back at it full every day. You know.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah.
You bunch of free time.
Yeah, you got more free time. Cool. And then totally.Trey on Instagram and totally_Trey.
Dude,
on
it's
Twitter.
hard.
There you go.
Well, I got Twitch on the brain.
Right?
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for joining us on episode 86 of EZPZ Podcast. It's a beautiful day. Hopefully it stays like that for you, and you have a great Labor Day weekend. We'll come at you next week. We out.
Yeah.